sucks, but hey guys, we're having a technical problem. You're gonna have to yell down the hall and count me down out of every break, okay? Now? All right. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. And, of course, this is Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Celebrating, of course, 45 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. We've got a lot to talk about today. I'm here to tell you. Now, I know Boris Johnson in the UK is resigning, and I've got news for you about that. And the news is, it's not news in America. You know, I know this may seem bizarre to some people for me to actually say this, but remember that there's that quote from Hillary Clinton? What difference does it make? The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom resigning, unless there's like a major scandal, I mean like a really major scandal going on, like lying about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, like Liz Cheney's war criminal father, something like that. A sex scandal, something. Other than that, it is not really a topic of discussion here in the United States. I know Fox News and maybe some of the other mainstream news media will obsess quite a bit about all of that. I'm sure they will, okay? But so far as us in this country, and I'll open up the phones on this about Boris Johnson. If you think we should be talking about that today in detail, tell me what would be the discussion? What would be the hook? What would be the interest to an American audience? To me, Boris Johnson resigning is about as significant as if the governor of New Jersey resigned today. It's one of those kind of things. And I know a lot of people say, no, it's a big deal. Well, it's a big deal if I'm in the UK. The reality of the situation is, in the United States, we don't care who the prime minister or presidents are of most any other country in the world. It's here that we are focused because we are, in America, the hub and center of the entire world. So I would not even know, unless a major interesting scandal comes out with Boris Johnson. I mean, like a major one that's you know, maybe even a little gossipy. I wouldn't even know how to do a show on that. And I'm listening to Fox News, and they're like freaking out, and they're talking about the minister of this and the minister of that wants to stay on. Who even knows who these people are? If any of these very important ministers they're talking about on Fox News were to walk into the room, you wouldn't even know who they were. And most people in this country wouldn't even know Boris Johnson if they saw him walking around the mall. Okay? I used to be a fan of Boris Johnson, and then he changed, and I was no longer a fan, but it matters zero here in the United States so far as our lives go. I'm sorry to tell you. I know we have a lot of listeners in the UK, and I don't mean to be offensive. Well, maybe I do. Now, I don't mean to be offensive to our UK listeners. We do have a lot of listeners online in the United Kingdom, and Americans don't care about politics in other countries. That's why we're not interested in Ukraine and the Russian war in this country. We're not. We're interested in it so far as it's costing us boatloads of money, with this wreck of an administration that's got everything priced through the roof. That affects us, that bothers us, that interests us. But Boris Johnson, I don't care. Now, if I should care and I should talk about it, here's what I'd like you to do. Not just call and tell me you should talk about it. Tell me, what is the discussion? Because I know some people are going to be not understanding this. What would be the discussion for me here on the air, talk radio? What would be the discussion regarding the resignation of Boris Johnson? Can you if you think we should be talking about it, call in 1-888-GO-CANE1. And I don't want to just say, yes, it's important. Tell us what we should be saying about it. Fox News, you got to understand, Fox News has a connection to the UK, right? Sky News over there. So they have a connection. And so because they have a connection to the UK through their entire company, because there's a lot of Brits and everything that work there, and there's a lot of cross, business going on between them and Sky News, they'll make a big deal about it. And some of the other international outlets, things out of Canada, or I know we get a lot of good conservative news out of Australia, they'll make a big deal about it because they're among the Commonwealth of Nations that the Americans here, we don't care about that either. And that's just the way it is. So if you think we should be talking about the resignation of Boris Johnson, which I do not believe we should be, tell me what we would say about it. How would you do a talk show talking about that? Okay, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. It is a toll-free call from anywhere, and I'm always open to constructive criticism from our listening audience. All right, I am. I'm not kidding. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not always right, maybe mostly right, but I'm always open. Always open. You and the listening audience are the consumer of this program. So you're like the customer, right? If we had a general store, you would be like our customers coming in and buying things. So I do very much consider what it is you all have to say, and you're interested in the program. But that's my thought on it. 1-888-GO-CANE1. All right. So I know. Hey, that's the way it is, people. That's the way it is. Americans do not care about international leaders. In fact, they don't even. Most Americans couldn't list the last 3 leaders of the United Kingdom. All right. Okay. Now, yesterday was really an amazing moment in the White House press briefing. Jean-Pierre, I've been following White House press briefings for a long, long time. I really, truly have. And the White House press briefing became a daily event during the Lewinsky-Bill Clinton Fornegate scandal. No one called. When that was going on, Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, I was so trying to get Fornegate going. Okay, everything's a gate, right? Whitewater Gate, Watergate, everything's a gate, and I was so desperate back then to try to get that Fornegate thing going. But we didn't have social media back then. Maybe if we had Twitter, I could have gotten that hashtag going. Hashtag Fornegate. The White House press briefing became a daily television event during that era because, they had, was it Mike McCurry was Bill Clinton's press secretary at the time? He'd come out every day and talk about everything but the Lewinsky scandal, which is what everyone wanted to hear. In fact, they went like a year without even referencing it. And that's when the White House press briefing became like a midday thing in the news. It's been going on since Kennedy, but people didn't watch it. It wasn't televised unless there was a major event. Now, they're always televised, and they're televised live, of course. And I've watched a lot of press secretaries up there. There has never been a press secretary so unqualified and incompetent as Jean-Pierre. I mean, that's just the way it is. Typically people that become White House press secretaries, they have some skill set. Sometimes they come from the media, they come from the world of PR, they may have been spokesperson for a government agency or a senator or something, and they have some experience. Jean-Pierre is a textbook example of what happens when you give someone a job, not because of qualifications, but because of, checking off the boxes, right? Black, immigrant, gay. So they got 3 boxes there. They're all excited. Boom. There's so many combinations of people that they'll be checking off boxes till doomsday, right? They'll be the first something. They'll have the first press secretary with 6 toes one day. Then they'll have the first gay press secretary with 6 toes. You know what I mean? It'll just be endless. And she is up there really unprepared, unqualified, and that's what makes it fun. You don't watch the White House press briefings to be informed. You watch to see if there's going to be an exciting moment, if someone in the media is going to ask a question and put the person on the spot and humiliate them. That's one of the reasons, one of the many, not the only reason, but that's one of the reasons that you listen to this program, right? You want to hear if a caller is going to put me on the spot, put Steve on the spot, or we're going to put a caller on the spot. That's one of the many reasons that you listen to this program, isn't it? Yeah, I would say so. So that's why you watch the White House press briefing every day. And, you know, these reporters, all the reporters are always looking for that viral moment. They want to ask the question that is going to leave the White House press spokesperson dumbfounded, looking stupid, giving an answer that they wish they wouldn't have given. And they want that viral moment on social media. And there was a bit of one yesterday that, without question, left Jean-Pierre speechless, humiliated, angry, and it's probably a feeling that was with her all day long. I mean, that's and you know what? And I enjoyed it. And it was a very good question that was asked. So after our break, I'm going to play that exchange, which was just beautiful, and we'll savor it. Jean-Pierre, unqualified, bunch of check boxes up there, being made a fool unexpectedly by someone, a reporter she wouldn't normally think that way of. So listen, we'll take our first break of the day, come back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, back after this. Be right back, guys. Unless you've done something. Let me check real quick. If it's working now. Hey, it's dead. Dead. So, I can't hear anything, just me and whatever I play. So, you're going to have to count me down, because I'm not going to. Yeah, but I can hear you down the hall, but you got to tell me when I'm on. I mean, and I can't hear anything, so, all right. See, I can't hear what they're playing down the hall for some reason, so what's in my headphones right now is complete silence. The only thing I can hear is when I'm talking and playing audio. Can we try it again? Nothing. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's in the right mode. You know what? Maybe they disconnected that board over there from that, what you were doing. Remember you were putting that pot up a little bit? Yeah. Yeah, so I can't hear anything. We have the whole first floor, or top floor of this building. So I'm on one end of the floor, he's on the other. So he's going to have to yell down to me when we are coming back. I know about the time we're going to be coming back, but I can't hear the rejoin or anything. Which actually might be a good thing. It might actually make it easier. Monday is the big new format change. Well, when we add the new stations, we're adding the new stations on Monday. Well, you can't listen on the radio because there's a delay. What's on the radio is about 40 seconds ago. So that doesn't work. I have a radio right back there, but it doesn't work because of the delay. So I'm just waiting for him to count me down. He's got to yell. I can't hear the rejoin music or anything. It's just silence in my headphones. Oh, it's not too long. Okay, we should be coming back. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. All right, so let's start the morning just enjoying Jean-Pierre being humiliated. I loved it. This is great. This is in the White House press briefing yesterday. She called on a reporter who really caught her off guard because she called from a guy who's from an African news agency, very mild-mannered, talked low, talked softly, has a heavy accent. And usually when the White House press spokesperson calls from the foreign press, in particular someone that's from the third world, right, like Latin America or Africa, they ask some question about electrification of their area or their ambassador coming to the White House that nobody's ever heard of nor cares about. But this guy actually asked Jean-Pierre a good question that she wasn't expecting, and I just loved it. Listen.
I would like to know what's the difference between President Trump watching TV, even pleading to go to the Capitol while the Capitol was being attacked, and President Biden going to the beach and having fun while Supreme Court justices are under attack by a verbally violent mob. What's the difference between those two leaders?
Okay, now he has a very heavy accent which Jean-Pierre cannot understand very well. So, and I know you have a hard time understanding him too, but that's okay. It was a great question, and I'll tell you what it was. He asked Jean-Pierre, this guy from the African news agency, he asked Jean-Pierre, what is the difference between President Trump watching television while the Capitol was being attacked and Joe Biden going to the beach while Supreme Court justices were being threatened? Okay, so and then her response, this is beautiful.
Attacked by a verbally violent mob. What's the difference between those two leaders?
Wait, what's the comparison you're making? Could you say the first part?
She heard it.
I said that what's the difference between President Trump?
Okay, now, so he's going to ask the question again. Now, this is a technique of people that people use when they're in big trouble. When I saw the Menendez brothers did this when they were on trial. When they ask someone to repeat the question, this is beautiful. When they ask someone to repeat the question, it's not that they didn't hear the question or understand the question. They're buying a couple of moments to think of an answer, right? She heard what he said.
And President Biden going to the beach and having fun while Supreme Court justices are under attack by a verbally violent mob. What's the difference between those two leaders?
Wait, what's the comparison you're making? Could you say the first part?
So I'm saying that what's the difference between President Trump not doing anything while the Capitol was being attacked and President Biden not doing anything while protesters, while the Supreme Court justices were under attack in their own homes with their families and with their children?
Well, there are two major differences here. First of all,
I love it.
Our predecessor
the presidents whose name shall not be mentioned
was very, we have said that his behavior on that day, on January 6th, was atrocious. The president has said that. And we are going to let the select committee, the January 6th select committee, continue to do their independent review of that, their hearing. And you guys all saw for yourselves. The American people have seen for themselves what
babbling.
What our predecessor has done, behavior and his involvement. So that is not the same. That is absolutely not the same. We are talking about what we saw on January 6th. We are talking about an attack on our democracy. We are talking about...
Yeah, but what he's talking about the attacks on the Supreme Court justice, including the attempted assassin of the entire Kavanaugh family.
A very dark day that the person who was here before us, seemingly, if you watch, was very involved. So that's very, very different. Now, fast forward to this president. This president is fighting for women's rights. He's fighting for women's freedom. He has spoken out. He's been very clear about what needs to happen next. He put out 2 executive authorities that lays out ways that we can protect women. He has said that everything is on the table. We're going to see what else we can do. But he has spoken very truthfully and very honestly with the American people, which is, if we want to see Roe become the law of the land, we also have to act. We have to hold Congress accountable and make sure that they act, and that cannot happen, then Americans need to go to the ballot box, and that is very different. And to say that there is no difference, that is just unbelievably wrong.
But is it considered that Supreme Court justice?
I'm moving on. Go ahead.
I'm moving on, and you will never be called on again. Okay, so isn't that beautiful? Oh man, this guy's awesome. I don't know who he is, but Fox News or Newsmax should hire him, get him a Hollywood dialect coach so he can lose a little bit of that accent, because he asks great questions with a comparison to put her on the spot. So Jean, I didn't just play that to enjoy Jean-Pierre, who I promise you was physically ill, sick to her stomach all afternoon through the evening through that embarrassment. Believe me, I know. But she says there that there's a big difference, and this president is protecting women. Really? Joe Biden's protecting women. Also in the news today, star of Netflix's Cheer, who is a Joe Biden campaign surrogate, Jerry Harris, has just been sentenced to 12 years for child pornography. Netflix Cheer star and Joe Biden presidential campaign surrogate Jerry Harris was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison in a child pornography case. He'll be required upon release to register as a sex offender for life, with the Netflix Biden surrogate facing 8 years of supervised release after his prison term. He held an Instagram chat with Joe Biden right before the FBI investigation into his child pornography sex solicitation began. In 2020, he was arrested on production of child pornography charges. This is a Biden campaign surrogate, after he was accused of soliciting sex from minors and pressuring 14-year-old boys to send him pornographic photos and videos. He solicited oral sex from a minor and in a bathroom at a cheerleading event. So Biden's out there protecting children, protecting the kids, protecting the women, protecting the boys. Here is Joe Biden with a convicted sex offender sentenced to 12 years.
Jerry, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, Mr. Biden.
How you doing, man?
Mr. Biden, thank you for this amazing opportunity. I'm so happy I get to talk with you. It is a privilege to be a part of this important conversation, and it's really an honor just to meet you.
Glad to spend the day with you.
Glad to spend the day with you. A man just convicted of, child pornography charges, doing 12 years in the big house.
Thank you. Thank you again.
I guess we can meet one another with this coronavirus.
Absolutely. I would love that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Good to meet you. Well, you can go meet him anytime in the federal lockup. You might have to talk to him through a glass window on a now, could you imagine if Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, our great president Donald Trump, if one of their campaign surrogates was just convicted of child pornography charges, soliciting sex and oral sex from minors, and they had a tape like that of them together? Oh my goodness. Boris Johnson's resignation would not even be in the news cycle. It would be all that, even if it happened today, a year and a half after his first term ended. Oh man. But Joe Biden, barely a blip. In fact, this may be the only place you hear this story today. But he's protecting the kids. He's protecting everyone. He's about the rights of people being protected. My goodness. All right, listen, let me open up the phones. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1, 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. By the way, check out my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms, including iHeartRadio and Spotify. Last night I uploaded my 1,300th episode of my podcast. The 1,300th episode of the Brian Craig Show podcast was uploaded last night. Check that out later. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
In all of South Florida.
Okay, we got it now.
With Brian Craig, morning 6 to 9 on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9. Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day is off to an awesome start. We're going to see a daytime high today of about 91 degrees. When you combine the humidity and the heat, it'll feel like 100 plus out there. There's a chance of some isolated storms. I'm WPVF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
True Oldies. Traffic check.
Multi-vehicle crash in West Palm has a right shoulder blocked on 95 heading northbound just before 45th Street. There is no delay on the approach. The major expressways are still looking good with moving up the speed between Boca Raton and Jupiter. The surface
Well, let's find out on the next break. I'll take the next break on the dot.
North and south
44.
no delay here. This report is sponsored by Audible. This summer, fire up your imagination with Audible.
Well, let's find out on the next break.
And more. It's everything you want in audio entertainment. All the Audible apps. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think?
I'm glad we got that fixed. That was like really rough.
Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsborough. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Men, do you suffer from ED? If so, you know it can be very frustrating, not just for you, but your partner too. Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West LA can help. Call for a free consultation, 561-320-8893. Call now and get your erection back on demand. Ladies, you can make an appointment for your man too, 561-320-8893.
Well, you got. Tell me in the chat. Should I be talking about Boris Johnson?
Don't spend thousands of dollars.
What would I say? Who cares? What's the... We call it the hook. What's the discussion, other than the basic facts of it, that the American audience would care about?
Most comfortable robe I've ever worn. Made with luxurious cotton. It comes in men's and women's in a huge variety of colors. And right now, you can order yours for 30% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Yeah, I agree. Boring. Who cares?
Or call 1-800-716-4879.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location.
Good.
And offering great deals.
So I feel the
on new
pulse
and
of you
used
guys.
tires.
That's good.
I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977.
Yeah, I got a haircut really short this time because it's the summertime in Florida. I keep my hair shorter during the summer because it's so hot.
977-944-5445. Thank you.
Do you suffer from neuropathy, back pain,
Yeah, I got a hat head.
pain, or osteoarthritis? Stop the suffering and stop the pain. Call Lighthouse Medical Center.
I'm glad you guys agree.
222-6642.
Oh, I am going to talk about Trump. Don't you worry.
When you mention you heard them on the radio. 754.
No, I don't care about Boris either. Good.
754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. Online at Lighthouse
Boris Johnson, the soon-to-be former Prime Minister
Is no fun, but there is
of the
help
UK.
available for your menopause symptoms with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West Ray. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will 100% stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone, vaginal dryness reversed. You'll get your sex drive back too. Call Dr. Mitch Matez for a free consultation. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Flo Rida's longest-running radio show, broadcasting live from Ron DeSantis' free Florida. Oh, man. Where every day is a sunrise, even when it's raining, because President Trump lives here, and, of course, this is Ron DeSantis' state. Oh, man. I'm so excited. This is just a great time, all this winning going on. Now, the Trump family did something which was, I've got goosebumps. I've watched this video I'm going to talk about, 10 times. Trump Force One. Have you seen the Trump Force One video? I first saw it on Truth Social. By the way, follow me on Truth Social, Real Brian Craig on Truth Social. That's correct. On Truth Social, Eric Trump truthed this. On Truth Social, you don't tweet, you truth. He truthed this, a video. Trump Force One, his famous plane, has been completely updated and renovated, and they put a video, a very dramatic video, in the hangar of the painting of the newly updated Trump Force One. It's the same 757, but it's been totally upgraded. He didn't use it while he was using Air Force One, and but if you watch the video, I didn't notice this the first couple times I watched the video because I kept going back to rewind it to watch it again because it's so exciting. It's on my Truth Social account if you go there. But here's the deal. And this is so exciting, people. This is so exciting. So it's very dramatic, painting the whole plane. It looks beautiful. President Trump's 757. I call it Trump Force One. We haven't seen the inside. I don't know if they've renovated the inside or not, but the outside certainly has gotten a makeover with the Rolls-Royce engines and everything. But at the end of the video, it's in the airplane hangar. You see the whole plane get painted. There's a brief fade that if you blink, you miss it, but it was not put in there by accident. They show flags, which look to me, you guys look and let me know, They show flags that look to be hanging from the roof of the Trump Force One hangar, and there's one that says Trump 2024 hanging over the plane. Trump 2024. It's there for a split second and fades away. And it doesn't even come in fully. It comes in faded, never fully dissolves, and then fades away again right over it. And that's right. That, believe me, that was not an accident. That was done on purpose to put it out there, and it's so exciting. So exciting. When you look at what's going on with the wreck of this country, I was reading an article today that the majority of Americans are making changes on what they buy at the grocery store. I know my family, we're doing that. Are you guys making changes with what you're doing at the grocery store? Come on. Of course you are. Who isn't right now? Things have gotten so expensive. They really have. Everyone is making changes because prices have gotten so high at the grocery store. And that's only the beginning of it. And, it's going to take not just a regular politician or just a regular mortal president to fix it. It's going to take someone who's superhuman, and that, of course, is Donald Trump. He's the only one that can fix this. And, when President Trump comes in and is elected and takes office for his second non-consecutive term, Can you imagine what that is going to be like, President Trump's second inauguration? Can you imagine what that day is going to be like? It's going to be exciting. But he'll come in with such a mandate, he'll be able to get everything that needs to be done, and anything he wants to get done. He's going to come in with such a massive mandate because the American people are suffering so much. And think about it. Think about how, with these incompetent idiots we have running things right now, think how bad things will be the economy will start to get better right after the election, because even when he was president-elect the first time, the economy started to improve a lot because the markets know he was coming in, and that was it, and there was already a big change in a lot of things. And of course, I don't know what you're watching that Saturday night. It's going to be a good one. This is President Trump's first rally in Alaska, and it's going to be a big one, and it's an important one. It really is. And, there's some areas of the country that Trump has never visited before. I would like to see President Trump do a rally in California. I think California, I know there's been a big exodus from California, but there's a lot of people that are conservative in California, I think, who feel left behind, and I think we could get a full rally going in California. But this one in Alaska, President Trump's first rally in Alaska, and it's going to be an important one. We got to get rid of this McCaskill. I mean, she is the textbook definition of rhino. I mean, there's just no getting around that. All right, so it wasn't just a bad day from the African news guy for Jean-Pierre. Dixie got her good the day before on the Joe Biden voicemail to his son. I mean, this is beautiful. Listen to this. This is Dixie with Jean-Pierre.
Why is there a voicemail of the president talking to his son about his overseas business dealings if the president has said he's never spoken to his son about his overseas business dealings?
Well, first I'll say that what the president said stands. So if that's what the president said, that is what stands. And secondly,
a New York Times article concerning business dealings, and he says, "I think you're clear." How is that not him talking to his son about his overseas business dealings?
We're not, from this podium, I am not going to talk about alleged materials from the laptop.
So I'm not. President's voice on the voicemail?
I am not going to talk about alleged materials on the laptop.
It's not happening. That it is not.
Peter, I refer you to his son's representative.
Okay.
Wow. I'm starting to think that Jean-Pierre didn't get this job because they were checking off boxes. I think she got this job because no one else wanted it. It's not fun to go out there and be beaten up every day. It really isn't. It's, I've not had this happen for a long, long time. In fact, I can't remember specifically the last time it's happened. It's been many, many years. But there's been once or twice where someone's got the better of me on the air. Like when I was starting out before, I had not perfected my skill set, I guess. But it happens. And when you are dealing with a humiliation that is public, it doesn't go away. It does not go away. In fact, I see this with, I see this happen with callers sometimes. I give you one example that there's an old coot that calls this show on occasion, Old Man Jerry. I've had some back and forth with him, and he's so sick about it. And then 4 or 5 days later, I'll hear him call another show, trying to process what happened with me and make himself feel better. To be publicly humiliated like Jean-Pierre is being humiliated every day, that does not make her feel good. She's not sleeping at night over this. It is embarrassing. And when she leaves the podium and she goes back into her office, what she immediately does is look for people to tell her that she looked good, she didn't look bad. And I don't know if they could honestly tell that, they got this one girl from the press office that's resigning. She's probably afraid she's going to be next in line for that job. Jen Psaki had a better skill set. She was asked tough questions, but even Jill Psaki was skilled enough to handle the questions well. She had, she didn't, obviously she's defending Biden, so that's like the dirtiest job that a person can have, but Jen Psaki could handle herself against tough questions. Jean-Pierre is completely 100% unqualified for the job, does not have the ability to do it, and she knows that she's unqualified for the job too. So it makes the humiliation even worse because every day she goes out there, she's asked a tough question, and she looks like this. So this is beautiful, beautiful stuff. Now, by the way, Monday, we were talking about this early in the week, but Monday is the launch where we're adding the 3 new FMs carrying the Steve Kane Show from 5 to 9. Starting Monday, we're going to be on all the way through Palm Beach, all the way up through the Treasure Coast. We're going to be on the air in Broward, Palm Beach, Martin, and Indian River counties, more than quadrupling our audience. And that starts on Monday. And today is the last show that will be only exclusively to our current audience, because the 8 o'clock hour is, we run as a best of from 5 to 6. So this is the last show that only our regular listeners will hear. Isn't that amazing? Listen, we're going to take a quick break and be back. I'm Brian, back after this.
The Steve Kane Show, telling it like it is, whether you like it or not. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Our dogs and cats want 4 things: food, water, our love, and a My Pillow pet bed. And let's face it, when they get older, they really need that comfort. Available in 3 sizes and in many different colors. And your furry family member will sleep as well as you do, because the My Pillow pet bed has that same patented fill inside as the pillows. Order your My Pillow pet bed for 50% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Or call 1-800-716-4879. Women, you know menopause is no fun, but there is help available for your menopause symptoms with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bayou Station, West Del Rey. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will 100% stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone, vaginal dryness reversed. You'll get your sex drive back too. Call Dr. Mitch Matez for a free consultation. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs or Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure to mention you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show. Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling to your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. And I'm a sono mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. How exciting that is. 45 years on the radio, the Steve Kane Show. Oh, man, Steve will be joining us later in the program. You know, this Highland Park shooter, their gun grab attempt with it is evaporating because it was released yesterday. We found out that this sicko's sicko father enabled him to get the permit, because they require permits, in Illinois to buy guns. Now remember, we were talking yesterday that he had 2 run-ins with police. The first was a suicide attempt, and then the second one, this is the Highland Park shooter, the second one, he was threatening to kill his whole family, and that's when they went and confiscated a bunch of knives, a sword, and a dagger. 2 months after that, his father had to sign off on this because he was not yet 18. You have to have a firearms permit to purchase weapons in Illinois, right? His father, after he attempted suicide, after he threatened to kill the entire family, his father signed the permission slip for him to get the firearms permit. 2 months after that. And we were talking yesterday because he wasn't arrested. He didn't have an arrest record, so it didn't trigger a stop of the purchase during the background check. And then his father, who he lived with, knew what a lunatic his son was, threatening to kill the whole family, threatening suicide, allowed him to go out and buy weapons. There's got to be a lot of responsibility on this father. And this case, very soon, it's already starting to happen, is fading away from the news because it doesn't fit that all these truths are coming out, and it does not fit the narrative that they want to put out there. That's just the way it is, okay? And that's what's going on there. You see it happening. You see it happening. Just like Uvalde, that faded away too. When they can't use it, they move on. And the Democrats, the left, the Trump-hating, left-wing, fake news media are so desperate to try to get this gun control narrative. They got a new face for gun control. Do you know who it is? This is insanity to me. John Hinckley. I'm not kidding. John Hinckley, who was the man who shot President Reagan. John Hinckley, who is out of prison, which is an injustice. I believe John Hinckley is only out of prison because he shot a Republican. If John Hinckley had shot a Democrat, he'd be where he belongs, still in prison. And he has been doing a lot of interviews, which is, to me, very twisted. He did an interview with Nightline, and they're now using John Hinckley to be the new face of gun control. And it's disgusting. It really is disgusting. And I'm expecting the Brady campaign to start using him. And he shot James Brady. Listen to this. I just have one clip of this. This is John Hinckley, the man who shot President Reagan, on ABC's Nightline, advocating for gun control.
Background checks are good and waiting periods are good. I think there's too many guns in America.
And coming from you, that's quite a statement.
Well, I hope it is. Because that's the way I feel.
Oh, well, who cares how John Hinckley feels, right? Do you care how John Hinckley feels? There's too many guns out there. Too many guns out there. I don't know. You know, when I remember I was in 3rd grade when President Reagan was shot. And I remember watching that very well all day. It was on TV. I was a little kid, but it was a shocking thing. And if you go back online, I'm sure it's all over YouTube. You guys, of course, after 9 when we sign off. Don't look up anything now. Just listen to me. But when John Hinckley did what he did, how many guns did you see come out? Man, the Secret Service back in those days, they were wearing like 3-piece suits and stuff. They had machine guns, they had pistols, there were guns out all over the place. And they tackled him, and it was a beautiful thing. But that is disgusting to me. I mean, do you if John Hinckley would have, and by the way, you know, he was in prison for 40 years, and they're doing all these mental health examinations. It didn't sound like they gave him much of an education. He is very inarticulate. I've never really heard him speak before. Well, you know, presidential assassins usually aren't free to do interviews with network news cameras in their living rooms like John Hinckley is. He walks around, they show him this. You know, I watched the whole thing. I just pulled off the one clip. You know, most of it's about a bunch of nonsense we don't care about. But he's walking free. John Hinckley is not only free, At this point, he is unsupervised. And he said during that interview, he was talking about his mental health, and he says he was talking that he takes medications. He says he doesn't have to take them anymore. Really? John Hinckley does not have to take his prescription medications for his mental health problems? I tell you, the left are just, nothing is off limits to the liberals. Nothing is off limits to these people. They're disgusting people. They will stop at nothing. And you know that the gun control people and the gun control activist movement is in a very bad state when they have to go to John Hinckley as the new face of gun control. We, on the other hand, in the MAGA movement, we have a bench of people that are just unbelievable. And we've got a candidate running for Congress out in Arizona, Jerome Davison. Now, I'm not a sports guy. I heard of him for the first time yesterday when I saw this ad online. But he was an NFL player, and he played for, I believe, Arizona State. But I've never heard of him before yesterday. He's a MAGA Republican, and he has a new television ad. I want to play you the audio of it. And the ad is called "Make Guns Great Again," is the title of the ad. And it is important for the ad to understand that Jerome Davison is black. And he put together this television ad, which is very, very dramatic, of why people like him, black men, not only need but needed guns. And it's a beautiful ad. Listen to this. This is the new ad. Jerome Davison, Republican MAGA, running for Congress in Arizona. Listen to this.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense. That no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods.
Okay, now right here. I know, isn't it beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Now, right here, what happens is he's in, it looks like a cabin with an AR-15 looking out the window, and then you see the fully dressed, robe-wearing, hood-wearing Klansmen come up to him, and I love how he points out that they're Democrats.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense. That no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic and all 30 rounds.
Yeah, that's right. And they're out there ready to lynch him. And that's true. You know, this ad is so beautiful. It's so beautiful and tells so many truths. And, you know, there's been a great awakening in this country among African Americans about the true history of the Democrats. You know, when you see the Democrats take down, you know, all these statues and things that they say are racist, every time they take down a statue, they take down a statue of a Democrat. They don't tell you that. And the Democrats are very well aware that blacks in this country have woken up and been properly educated and getting an education you don't get in your public schools because the liberals control the public education and college system and the book publishers, and all these truths don't get out. But the Second Amendment stopped an unknown number of black men from being lynched during the 100-year reign of terror in the Deep South by the original Democrat community activist organization known as the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. And this ad right here was done by some really serious professional filmmakers. It is incredibly dramatic. And the fact that Jerome Davison added in the little thing there, making sure that people know that they're Democrats. See, that's why they tried to sell this big switch nonsense that is nothing but a boatload of lies. There was never a big switch. This guy's going places. And you know, I don't know what the polling is like in his race. I don't know. Like I say, I never heard of him before yesterday. But I love him. I mean, that's a courageous ad. Because now the entire force of the Democrats are going to target him. Because he's a threat. Because he's a truth teller. You know, they talk about DeSantis banning books, which is not true. Okay, that's very misleading. You know, when they talk about Ron DeSantis is banning books, give me a break. You know, they're the ones who are the book banners and the book burners. And they don't expose kids to the true history of all of these things. And since Trump came down the escalator, the Democrats have been losing in large numbers black voters for a lot of reasons. One of them are reasons like this, that because of the internet and everything, people are exposed to a larger diversity of thought and news and information and learning about things that they didn't know about before. Also because, you know, we've reached finally economic equality between blacks and whites in this country. Black people are paying taxes, and when people become middle class and above and start paying taxes, they don't like paying taxes for a bunch of freeloaders that are sitting back watching video games all day, like this Highland Park shooter, and they tend to become Republican. And anytime there's a prominent African American who comes out and combats the liberal false narrative about the role of the past between the Democrats and blacks in this country, they go out to destroy them. Look at Allen West, right? You know, and he's not alone. Anytime someone comes from their victim groups, they go out to destroy them. This guy, he's now on the list because he's a threat, because he will become, like Candace Owens and others, an inspiration to a lot of African Americans. And that ad's going to wake up a lot of people. It's a beautiful one. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. When we get back, we'll take some calls. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio this very year. We'll take our break and be back right after this.
In West Palm, a crash is blocking the left shoulder now on I-95 heading southbound just before Blue Heron Boulevard, but so far no delay in the approach. A disabled truck in Boca Raton has the right shoulder blocked on 95 heading southbound just before Yamato. The surface streets are crash-free, moving up to speed. Just some light volume on 441 north and southbound passing Paul Park Road. This report is sponsored by Publix Supermarkets. Publix is hiring full and part-time selectors for their distribution center.
Steve Kane Show.
In Boynton Beach. Make up to $30 or more an hour and get group health, dental, and vision plans. Apply today to join the Publix team at jobs.publix.com. Publix is proud to be an equal opportunity employer dedicated to a diverse workforce. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update. ABC News now live.
Oh, happy birthday, Rome, Wisconsin. Happy birthday, 25 today.
Shooting will be laid to rest Friday.
Steve Kane Show.
And as police release new details, the community is still trying to cope. ABC
Are we 5 seconds off?
The last time Lorena Mejia,
how's that possible?
Here,
oh, I know how it's possible. Let me do something here. You know what? I have it on airplane mode, and it's let me.
Gunshots, run! Gunshots! They have now come back to piece together the fuzzy memories of when they ran.
We found a dumpster, and we moved the dumpster into
I think because I have it on airplane mode, it lost some time.
our 2 dogs.
And they are here with many
Let's
others
find out.
crying together.
Well, hold on. Let me pull it up.
At a growing memorial. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The suspect was denied bond in court yesterday. 7 people were killed and dozens others injured in
I'm
that
fast?
shooting. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek
This
Chauvin
just sucks. What about this
in
time?
federal court today for violating
Okay, my
Georgia
watch
civil
is fine, and
rights.
this is off.
This is ABC News.
I'll reset it. And,
Yeah.
I work in IT, and since we switched to
Steve
Mac,
Kane
the
Show.
text messages I'm getting are a lot more positive.
Oh, he does.
Sales is happy because Mac works with all their apps.
I'll see. We'll see.
Finance is happy to get power without the big price tag.
And CDW configured every device to work right out of the box.
Is there an emoji for that?
I use the unicorn.
Our clocks were 5 seconds off. So.
People who get it. Get a great deal on Mac for your business at cdw.com/getmac.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
The new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 is here. WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station. I love these people. Now, celebrating 45 years, it's the longest running radio show in Florida. We are on the air. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. All right, let me go to the phones. Steve is always telling me I don't take enough calls. He tells me every day after the show. Steve tells me this. Same thing, tells me for years. Sometimes I just lose track. There's a lot going on, and a lot of things to cover here on the program. So let's go to the phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1, toll-free call. Feel free to talk about anything I brought up so far. Let's go to Jeff in Maine. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brian. This Jean-Pierre is not going to last much longer. How can she go up there every day and be humiliated like that every day?
Yeah. Well, she knows she's humiliated. The guy, I'm going to play it again, the guy from the African News Agency, he caught her off guard because he's foreign and black. So she thought she had a friend, and anytime you see third world media ask questions, they always ask about things that no one cares about. And he asked a spot-on question that made her very uncomfortable. And I'm assuming you agree. Did I lose you, Jeff?
No, I was listening for you to play that.
Oh, no. I'm not going to play it now. I'll take a call or two, then I'll play it. Yeah. I'll play it in a few minutes. But yeah, when you're publicly humiliated like that, publicly on national television, the feeling you get inside of your stomach is the worst anxiety, the worst sick feeling you've ever experienced. And it can last for days and days.
Leaves you speechless, your guts wrenching, and you're being a horse's you-know-what.
Well, I'll the way these press briefings, when the Democrats, and Jean-Pierre does this, when the Democrats are in office, the press briefings are fake. They talk to the reporters beforehand and get the questions in advance so they have the answers, and then they go out here and pretend to have a press conference for the public. And every once in a while, they'll call on a random person, like the guy from the African News Agency who didn't put his question in advance, and boom, she got caught off guard.
And you know what I miss is that Kayleigh McHenry for President Trump.
McEnany?
Shocked. Oh, she was so shocked. She humiliated the liberal press. They couldn't stand her. She was so sharp and classy. And I really hope that when President Trump gets back in there, he brings her back.
Oh, McEnany's awesome. Yeah, she's on Outnumbered now on Fox.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't watch Fox anymore. But you know what's coming is when Biden comes out for any presses, he's just going to turn around and walk away and not answer questions because it's getting just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. All right, hey, listen, Jeff from Maine, appreciate the call. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Man, that commercial you just ran for that gentleman running for Congress is great. It's going to bring out a lot of people who are anti-gun, make them realize that guns are necessary. That should be played. I hope the Republican Party puts some money behind it and plays it a lot more than a couple of times. It needs to be heard, and I think it'll do wonderful things.
No doubt.
The other thing I wanted to mention is, yesterday they said President Trump, when he wanted to drain the swamp and reduce the amount of federal employees, I didn't notice. Over 2 million federal employees, that means about 40,000 per state to handle federal things. I mean, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Department of Commerce has 50,000. That means we have 1,000 people per state to handle commerce for this damn.
That's correct. Yes.
What a waste of our money. I'm hoping that when we take over Congress, maybe Congress will do something to reduce the amount of federal.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. I appreciate the call, Conservative Doug. Not much to say there from Conservative Doug. But he's, you know what? Doug's trying. All right. Welcome. Well, you know, let me play it again before I move on to some other things. I played it at 6, and this is just hilarious. So the guy, unfortunately, has a very heavy accent, makes it a little difficult to understand him. But you know what? I can understand him, and I'll tell you what it is he said. So Jean-Pierre, the most unqualified person ever in history to be the White House press spokesperson, she called on this guy from the African news agency, and he asked her a question that not only left her speechless, but she's just like hanging out there trying to come up with an answer. And the longer it goes on, the more humiliated she obviously is. So let me play. This is just beautiful stuff. So this guy's from the African news agency. This is in yesterday's press briefing.
I would like to know what's the difference between President Trump watching TV, even needing to go to the Capitol while the Capitol was being attacked, and President Biden going to the beach and having fun while Supreme Court justices are under attack by a verbally violent mob.
Okay, so I know he's got a heavy accent, but that's okay. This moment is so good, it is worth the accent. What he said is, what is the difference between President Trump watching the TV while the Capitol is attacked and President Biden going to the beach when Supreme Court justices are being threatened? That's the question that he asked, which is a beautiful question. So let's hear the beautiful answer from Jean-Pierre.
Supreme Court justices are under attack by a verbally violent mob. What's the difference between those two leaders?
Wait, what's the comparison you're making? Could you say the first part?
So I'm saying.
Now again, this is she heard exactly what he said, right? She heard what he said. She understood, but she's like, what am I gonna say? So right now she's buying time to try to think of a pathetic response, and it's not enough time. She need like a week, and she still wouldn't have a good answer.
Court justices are under attack by a verbally violent mob. What's the difference between those two leaders?
Wait, what's the comparison you're making? Could you say the first part?
So I'm saying that what's the difference between President Trump not doing anything while the Capitol was being attacked and President Biden not doing anything while protesters, while the Supreme Court justices were under attack in their own homes with their families and with their children?
Well, there are two major differences here. First of all...
Two, okay, let's go.
Our predecessor was very, we have said that his behavior on that day, on January 6th, was atrocious. The president has said that. And we are going to let the select committee, the January 6th.
Isn't this beautiful? I mean, she is really in a panic.
Select committee continue to do their independent review of that, their hearing, and you guys all saw for yourselves. The American people have seen for themselves what our predecessor has done, his behavior and his involvement. So that is not the same. That is absolutely not the same. We are talking about what we saw on January 6th. We are talking about an attack on our democracy. We are talking about a very dark...
Well, what is the assassination attempt on the Kavanaugh family and the intimidation of the Supreme Court? That was an attack on our judicial system. No doubt about that.
That the person who was here before us, seemingly, if you watch, was very involved. So that's very, very different.
Oh, yes.
Now, fast forward to this president. This president is fighting for women's rights. He's fighting for women's freedom. He has spoken out. He's been very...
Really? He's fighting for women's rights and freedoms? What about that hooker that the video came out last week, the Russian hooker who is owned by some Russian pimp daddy sex slaver that Hunter tuned up, and Biden paid $100,000 to the hookers, to the sex slaves? That doesn't sound like Biden's protecting women. Jean-Pierre, any comment on that?
clear about what needs to happen next. He put out 2 executive authorities that lays out ways that we can protect women. He has said that everything is on the table. We're going to see what else we can do, but he has spoken very truthfully and very honestly with the American people, which is, if we want to see Roe become the law of the land, we also have to act. We have to hold Congress accountable and make sure that they act, and that cannot happen, then...
Now the big finish is coming up. Listen to this.
Americans need to go to the ballot box, and that is very different. And to say that there is no difference, that is just unbelievably wrong.
But is it considered that Supreme Court justice?
I'm moving on. Go ahead.
I'm done with you. I'm moving on. I'm done with you. Too many tough questions. Let me go to CNN with the prepared question and the prepared answer. Could you tell us what the president's favorite color is, or something that's meaning? Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful. And, I don't think it's a coincidence that this other press person is leaving the office, because she's next in line. And perhaps she wants to get out there before they make her take Jean-Pierre's job if she steps aside. There's only so much humiliation like this that a person can take before they can't take it anymore. Anyone that's been in this kind of situation will know what I'm talking about. All right, listen, callers on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-COCAINE, 1-888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. That's right. Back after this.
Tired of boring mornings? We serve controversy with your morning coffee. The Steve Kane Show. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Our dogs and cats want 4 things: food, water, our love, and a My Pillow pet bed. And let's face it, when they get older, they really need that comfort. Available in 3 sizes and in many different colors. And your furry family member will sleep as well as you do, because the My Pillow pet bed has that same patented fill inside as the pillows. Order your My Pillow pet bed for 50% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Or call 1-800-716-4879. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs or Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
This is Julian Rubenstein from The Income Show. Listen to my show at 7:30 every Sunday morning, or listen anytime on the web at www.americanasset.com, where you will learn about structured notes earning approximately 8% interest income, and our permanent portfolio strategy that strives to provide income growth and protection. And you can always call my office at 561-955-8500 to make an appointment to meet with me personally, Julian Rubenstein. Have a great day.
Opinions are like everyone's got one. Get yours in. The Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Oh, man. Okay, so our great governor here in Florida, Ron DeSantis, who is the governor of Ron DeSantis is Free Florida, he's been taking on these groomers over at Disney. They got all kinds of problems, and they're all up in arms about how, the Republicans are, the reason that Ron DeSantis and the Republicans have gone after Disney, and they're doing it big time, by the way, in all kinds of ways. I'm not going to go through them all now, but they're really, Disney's executives out in California vowed to unseat the entire, not just the Republican governor, but the entire Republican Florida state legislature. And they wanted to have they wanted to turn the Florida government in Tallahassee into a corporate-controlled corporate state of Disney. And Ron DeSantis and the Republicans says, no way, you're out of your mind. We're not going to allow that to happen. And they've been taking them on. And Disney, they're worried so much about their gay kisses in little kids' cartoons. And they've got all kinds of weird things going on in their animation division, which is inappropriate. It's nice to see, though, that their new animated film bombed at the box office. Universal had an animated film for children that made more money the first weekend, the Minions movie, than Disney's Lightyear with the gay kiss in it made in its first couple of weeks. So that's a statement. People are turning on Disney. Now, Disney's got some other bad news. Listen to this. Oh, my goodness. A man has been accused of raping a woman at Disney World on the 4th of July. That's right. Ivor Gomez, age 49 of Pembroke Pines, was arrested Monday and charged with sexual battery, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The victim stated that Gomez struck up a conversation with her at the bar at Walt Disney World's Dolphin Resort, and later suggested they go outside after last call, and this is out of the views of the cameras, because he claimed to have his own alcohol on him. So the bar closed. He said, I have some more alcohol, but we have to go outside where there's no cameras so we can drink it without getting in trouble. This is according to a copy of his arrest affidavit. As the pair was in a corner by a glass wall and bushes, the victims told deputies Gomez began to make advances towards her, which she rejected. Gomez then shoved her against the glass wall, according to her affidavit. She said she hit her head and blacked out. Security cameras show the woman trying to crawl away from Gomez. According to the affidavit, the security camera footage showed Gomez forced himself onto the woman, so they were not out of sight of the cameras as he thought. The victim is seen on video attempting to push Gomez off her. She was unable to do so. Gomez then allegedly is seen taking a picture of the victim with his cell phone. What a sicko. The affidavit says the two then walked into the hotel lobby where the victim sat with a group of strangers, asking them to pretend that they knew her so that Gomez would leave her alone. Disney security identified him from an incident the night before involving him and his wife. There was an argument. His wife was escorted back to their room. He matched the description and photograph provided by witnesses. Disney confirmed this. He initially denied that he knew the victim, but later told detectives he and the victim were only kissing and groping. He was arrested and booked into the Orange County Jail. And that's it. So they've had a rape at Disney World. Oh, my goodness. And Disney World's worried about, I know, is that pretty bad? Disney World's worried about Ron DeSantis, and one of their guests was just raped. Here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing with all of this. All of this trans stuff is getting so out of control that you need not worry about it. The shooter in Highland Park, did you see his mugshot? The Highland Park shooter obviously is transitioning. This disguise he did, dressed as a woman for his escape, if you've gone to look at the still photos that they've released of it, he went pretty far with that. I mean, and he was even walking like a woman. He had women's makeup on, including lipstick. This was not just putting on a skirt and a wig and walking down the street and trying to hide during the chaos. He already had that stuff before the incident was planned. And if you look at his mugshot, this shooter was transitioning. That's one of the other reasons that they're not focusing too much on the Highland Park shooter, and they're trying to get away from it in the news cycle. And they've almost totally abandoned the story, because we very well may have our first transgender mass shooter in here. So they don't want anything to do about it. But the transgender thing has gotten so out of control that they're going to doom themselves. There was this meeting at the National Education Association convention, the teachers union, the largest teachers union, which has a lot of sway over the Democrat Party, maybe bigger than any other union. They're no longer in their curriculum going to use mother and father, and they're going to describe mothers as birthing parents. And fathers, I guess, will be non-birthing parents. I mean, it's very bizarre. It's hard to believe that these are even serious actions and discussions taking place with these people. But they are. And one thing about liberals, they got a lot of problems, liberals. But one thing that is constant with liberals throughout all of time, no matter what issue it is liberals have no boundaries. So they get a little bit, they keep pushing, and they get stupid. And right now they're in the realm of stupidity that is so absurd. You see these stories, and you've got to check and make sure it's not Babylon B. That it's like this is the New York Times, this is Fox. What's going on here? You know, because they're getting so outrageous. Non-birthing parent from the NEA? Are you kidding me? And you know, the Democrats have a big problem, because the people that are pushing this, they cannot afford to lose very many more people. You know, the MAGA movement has taken so many away from groups that the Democrats have taken for granted for so long. We were talking about blacks earlier. The Democrats have lost a lot of black voters. They lost a lot of gay voters. There are so many gays for Trump out there. And look at the youth. You know, we're talking about Turning Point USA. They're having their convention coming up. And Charlie Kirk and everyone involved. They no longer can take the youth vote for granted. The high school and college kids, it was just a given that they were Democrats. Not anymore. Not anymore. And when they have these wackadoodle leftists, like this thing with the non-birthing parent with the teachers union, they can't afford to challenge any of them. So you have these extreme activist lunatics putting pressure on the Democrat Party, and they have to go along with it. So this is a beautiful thing. So don't be outraged at the nation's largest teacher union doing away with the terms mother and father. This is a beautiful thing, and it will help us in the end. This is part of our winning strategy. And the Democrats, they're too stupid to know this, but they're helping us to win. And you know what? I think that's pretty awesome, right? So let them keep doing this. Don't be outraged. Anytime you see one of these ridiculous stories, just savor it, enjoy it, and cheer them on. Let them do it. Because they are. You see these low approval numbers, right? Biden's at what, 35%? And I know a lot of people saying, well, who are these 35%? They're the teachers union. They're the trans activists. That's who the 35% are. You know, and a bunch of other freaky groups of people that have no boundaries, that don't understand what normal people in this country will tolerate and what they won't tolerate, and who think that paying $12 for a gallon of gas is worthy for the climate. These are the people you are dealing with. All right. When we get back from our bottom of the hour break, we'll take some more calls. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. Steve Kane will be joining us at the top of the hour. And I've got a lot more that I haven't even touched on yet, but I am going to play for Steve in the next hour the Jerome Davison gun ad, which I think is just beautiful. We got to get to know this guy because he is most definitely going places. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE1. It's a toll-free call, 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The longest running radio show in the state of Florida. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9. Have you ever wanted to feel like royalty?
Treasure bath! I'm going to have a treasure bath! Treasure bath!
Join our loyal listener club and sign up today at oldiesouthflorida.com. Once you're a member, you'll be eligible to get special deals, participate in exclusive contests, and more.
Hey man, that's groovy.
Plus, you'll get our newsletter in your inbox, packed with information on your favorite oldies personalities, inside information on your favorite artist, and great music insights. Visit oldiesouthflorida.com and join the loyal listener club today. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day is off to an awesome start. We're going to see a daytime high today of about 91 degrees. When you combine the humidity and the heat, it'll feel like 100 plus out there. There's a chance of some isolated storms.
I'm going to go through that story after the break on Hunter.
Traffic check.
Have you seen this?
In West Palm, a crash is blocking the left
Of Hunter in the
southbound
tank?
before Blue Heron Boulevard, but so far no delay in the approach.
It's
And the
hilarious.
truck in Boca Raton has the right shoulder blocked on 95 heading southbound just before Yamato. The surface streets are crash-free and moving up to speed, just some light volume on 441 north and southbound passing Palmetto Park Road. This report is sponsored by Publix Supermarkets. Publix is hiring full and part-time selectors for their distribution centers in Deerfield and Boynton Beach. Make up to $30 or more an hour and get group health, dental, and...
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an
I got a different clock, so I think we're on time now.
allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs. Or
Yeah.
any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs.
Yeah, but he missed a day, so we're 2 in a row. Oh, okay, yeah, it's right on time. Yeah, he missed his call on Tuesday.
906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
This is Steve Kane. We are here this morning with William Youngerman from William Youngerman Inc. for our gold report. William, how are you? Welcome to the show. Wanted to ask you the big question, the big one that everyone wants to know. With gold, when's a good time to buy, and when do you sell?
Okay, that's and the question. The answer to the question, when do you sell, is really goes back to why did you buy it in the first place? When the reason you bought it is fulfilled, it's time to sell. Or when the reason that you bought it no longer exists, it's time to sell. In 1980, gold hit a high of $850, and people had bought gold all the way up to that level. And at that time, the reason to own gold changed dramatically because we had 25% interest rates all of a sudden. The government said we will stop inflation no matter what, and they did so with very high interest rates. That reason for owning gold then changed, and we dramatically told our customers in the 1980s, sell your gold, sell. It's finished for the time being, okay? That was a reason. Now, some people held on because they said, no, I want this as my insurance policy. Insurance policy, you don't necessarily buy and sell your life insurance policies. You have it for a particular reason. And some of your money should always be in gold. regardless of what the price is doing. Historically, we've always said at least 5%. At this particular time, we recommend much higher percentage of our assets being gold, silver, and platinum. So the reason for buying it will determine when to sell it. If that reason changes or is fulfilled, that's the time to sell it. But it must go along with the fact that you understand that gold is the only real money in the world. It is the only thing that has no IOUs or attached to it. It is an insurance policy, and it is a hedge against inflation, and it's the only real money that will maintain its buying power for you in the long term.
Okay, well that answers that question. If the question becomes where, well, I can tell you where. William Youngerman Inc., located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. You can drop by. It's in the Bank of America building, right on the first floor of the Bank of America. You can call William at 1-800-327-5010 or go to the website at williamyoungerman.com.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Ready to get fired up? Just 60 seconds and you'll be racing for the phone. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be joining us at the top of the hour. So did you see this event with Biden yesterday? Oh, man, this was beautiful. This was beautiful. You know, Biden called on a woman. Let me play it for you. This is beautiful. Let me. I don't want to spoil it for those that didn't see it. This is Joe Biden yesterday. He calls on a woman at his speech.
So join me today is Rita Lewis. Where are you, Rita? Rita's here somewhere, I'm told. She stepped out. I don't blame her.
Oh, my.
No, she's Butch's widow.
Oh, she's Butch's widow. Rita, where are you, Rita? Oh, you left. You know, when something like this happens, when someone is called upon by the President of the United States, this is not a spontaneous thing. All right? This is something that's planned. She's told. She's ready. And then he goes to her and she left. Can you imagine? You know, this would... Have you ever seen this happen at a Trump rally? Could you imagine if President Trump called on someone to bring them up on stage and they had left the rally already? What would the media do? The media that are not covering the rallies would all of a sudden start covering that rally, or at least that clip. Oh, he didn't even... They left. They were so bored. And that's what happened to Biden yesterday. Butch's widow, Rita. She didn't care enough. And then he says, I don't blame her for... Oh, this is gorgeous. This is the best.
Is Rita Lewis. Where are you, Rita?
Where are you, Rita?
Rita's here somewhere, I'm told. She stepped out. I don't blame her. No, she's Butch's widow.
Yeah, well, yeah, and she's out of there. She's done. You know, at a Trump rally, no one leaves. No one leaves. Everyone takes a bathroom break right before Trump comes out. They come back and they sit there every moment. No one leaves. And you'll never see something like that happen. First off, President Trump is smart enough not to call someone on stage that he hasn't eyeballed first and know that they are there. Oh, this is wonderful. Now, the Hunter Biden laptop, I tell you, Hunter Biden, he must have the biggest hard drive on that laptop that money can buy. Because this laptop, you think you know everything that's in this laptop. And Hunter Biden put everything on his laptop. And, you know, it's like his sister's diary that she left at the drug rehab, where she was writing down the things about the inappropriate showers and everything. Biden's kids document everything so they can use it against Pops. It's not an accident that all this stuff is on the laptop. So there's a new video that has just been released from the laptop. Hunter at his $20,000 drug retreat. Hunter Biden is seen smoking, drinking, and touching himself in a float tank at a Massachusetts wellness center in January 2019. The president's son took the video of himself retrieved from his abandoned laptop while he was meant to be undergoing detox treatment. Text messages confirm the 7-minute clip was recorded at Blue Water Wellness. The video begins with a nude Hunter Biden in the water and touching his genitals as music plays in the background. He later proceeds to take several hits from what appears to be a crack pipe and stares wild-eyed into the camera as music plays in the background. 1 month earlier, Hunter had texted his dad, also found on the laptop, complaining to Pops that he didn't have enough money for the treatment program on top of his bills and alimony. Joe wired his son $75,000 to cover the cost and an additional $20,000 for a treatment program in New York City. Now, this is the, I don't play this to talk about this to make fun of Hunter. People that have addiction, I can't even give up coffee, all right? So, when people have addiction issues, I get it, okay? I mean, my addiction's a little not as bad as Hunter's addictions, but I don't want to make fun of someone who's an addict. I have known people, had people in my family that have addictions and have had addictions, and it's a terrible thing, and it's a very difficult thing to overcome. And parents who have children that have addiction issues, I've known people like this. It's a lifetime of a lot of rough patches for parents of addicts. There's some of you probably, if you don't have this problem in your family, know someone who has, but you don't have to have experienced it to know how difficult it is. So I don't want to make fun of someone because of their addiction issues. However, a couple things about Joe Biden. One rule I know for a fact with drug addicts is the last thing you do is give 10 cents to a drug addict. You give a drug addict 10 cents, they're going to find 10 cents worth of drugs. He gave Hunter at one time here $95,000 in cash. $95,000 in cash. I mean, that's the dumbest thing you could. He's enabling his son. And I really don't think he cares. I really don't. I think he's kind of given up on his kids. I think he doesn't mind it. It's how he controls them. He's a control person, Joe Biden, and the money is how he controls them. But he's an awful man to send $95,000 to his drug addicted son, who's obviously going to use the money to go on a bender, which he did. I've never known someone who had an addict in their family that gave them any money. And this guy's giving them money all the time. But the other thing is this. Now, so far as I know, unless he's been doing things that I'm not aware of, you guys can let me know, but his official disclosures are that he is a lifelong public servant since 1973. How does someone who has dedicated their entire life to public service able to send $95,000 cash to someone without blinking? What do you think about that? Without even blinking, he did it. Yeah. A corrupt public official, that's who can do it. And certainly Joe Biden is that, but this is terrible. I mean, and we left the laptop there so these things would continue to trickle out. And it's also a national security risk as well. And they made such a big deal about that fake Russian dossier with President Trump that was totally made up. Everyone knew it about how he was compromised. You don't think Hunter's compromised with all of this that we're seeing coming out and Joe's not compromised? Of course he is. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. It's a toll-free call. I was talking at the start of the show about Boris Johnson resigning. There is not one shred of interest that the American audience has in this. In fact, I don't even know what impact any prime minister has on our lives, except from time to time when they lie and get us into wars. And the only thing I can say about Boris Johnson is this, okay? Well, first off, he's a big disappointment because after he was a different person before he got COVID. After he got COVID, he became an establishment guy. But Boris Johnson played a role in supporting this ridiculous effort to help out Zelensky in Ukraine. That's all I can say about him. I mean, he's up to his eyeballs in that corruption, just like Joe Biden. But you know what? Whoever the next prime minister is, it doesn't matter. The only person that matters is who's the president of the United States. And the resignation of the British prime minister I know it's a big news story. I know it's all over the place. I know the media are acting like it's a big deal, and they're going to carry people here talking about it, and they'll probably have Piers Morgan on Fox all afternoon talking about it. It will have zero impact on the life of Americans. It really will. I mean, in America, we don't care who the heads of states are of other countries. We don't even know who they are. In fact, the only reason we're familiar with Boris Johnson is because for a brief time, he was palling around with Donald Trump. And he seemed to be like the UK version of Donald Trump, not just because of the hair, but he seemed to be taking on the establishment. And then boom, he got COVID, he got out of the hospital, and I don't know what they did to him while he was in the hospital with COVID, Boris Johnson, but he came out some globalist lunatic, and then I stopped listening. And you know what? A lot of people did too. He was like in the beginning loved by MAGA until he went through all of these changes. All right, now after our break, we'll take some more calls. I got some more audio to get to. Steve will be joining us at the top of the hour. I'm going to play for Steve when he joins us that Jerome Davison ad that I played in the first hour. This is just a great beginning to the end of the allegiance of African Americans for crazy reasons to the Democrat Party. And this guy, Jerome Davison, is somebody that we're going to be seeing a lot of. We got, in the MAGA movement, we have so many up-and-coming stars. They've got no one. They've got no one at all. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio this year. Back after this. Don't go anywhere.
They're always politically correct, but the snowflakes still disagree. Find out why right here on The Steve Kane Show, mornings 6 to 9.
Don't spend thousands of dollars on a fancy hotel suite when you can feel 5-star luxury in your very own home. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my Pillow bathrobe. It's the most comfortable robe I've ever worn. Made with luxurious cotton, it comes in men's and women's in a huge variety of colors. And right now, you can order yours for 30% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Do you suffer from neuropathy, back pain, shoulder pain, or osteoarthritis? Stop the suffering and stop the pain. Call Lighthouse Medical Center, 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation when you mention you heard them on the radio. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. Online at lighthousemedicalcenter.com.
Are you feeling over the hill? Tired? Sluggish? Taking those midday naps? Just not feeling yourself? There is help. If you want to look and feel like you did when you were young, call Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation West El Rey and talk to him about hormone replacement pellet therapy. Take it from me. I'm a patient. It works. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. And make sure to tell him you heard about him on the radio.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Live, local, and in your face. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I was just looking at the latest polls in Arizona, and Kari Lake is in first place by far. So that's good news. I tell you, Kari Lake is awesome, and she's going to be their main I'm telling you, if Kari Lake wins in Arizona, she's got her primary, okay? And there are 5 people running in the primary. She's ahead of the number 2 by 5 points. So she's got 40, number 2 has 35, and then the rest, are little. Actually, no, there's 4 candidates, and the other ones have hardly anything. They're not on it. And they say 21% undecided. But Kari Lake's going to win this. She's going to win it big. And she's right at the top there with Governor DeSantis. Here's the thing that they don't forget, that they just don't care, the Democrats. This is the big danger of Joe Biden. The danger of Joe Biden is that he does not care about public opinion or public suffering. This thing that he's talking about, blaming the gas stations again. This is the second time he's done this in the last week, that they're charging too much for gas. Gas stations don't make much money at the pump. They make peanuts at the pumps. Gas stations make their money when you go inside the convenience store and start buying things. That's what it's like. The movie theaters. The movie theaters don't make so much money off the movie as they do at the concessions, where the big profits are. And Joe Biden, who's blaming everyone for their problems, that old phrase that the media don't use at all anymore. I don't know why this phrase has disappeared, but people vote their pocketbook. Maybe pocketbook's an outdated term or something. But it's not just gas prices, it's the price of everything in this country. We are seeing inflation that most Americans have never seen. When they talk about Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Carter was a little kid, I was a blur. It's a blur in my mind, Jimmy Carter. Most Americans do not remember Jimmy Carter being president. This is the worst inflation that people have ever experienced. There's an article today that 90%, that's a huge number, 90% of Americans are cutting back at the grocery store because of inflation. And the things that they're cutting back on are the things where the profit is. The staples don't have that much profit in it. The grocery stores make their money on the extras, right? And the extras are what, of course, people are cutting back on. And the inflation is so bad, even CNN, listen, this is CNN yesterday talking about the inflation.
Where do we stand right now with inflation? Well, I think for a lot of Americans, their reality is being shaped by the really high inflation. Let's take a look at CPI, consumer inflation. You'd have to go back to the early 80s to see the type of levels we're seeing. The last CPI report came in at about 8.6%. Of course, we know under the hood of that number, really high energy prices, really high food prices, the cost of new and used cars have gone up. Pretty much everything broad-based has gone up. The cost of shelter has gone up, which has some economists really concerned. So I think if you are an American at home, it's really hard, perhaps understandably, to feel great about the economy right now, even though there are some silver linings when you're getting hit so hard with inflation. Even personally, Anna, I talk to economists and traders and analysts every day about this. And sometimes I find myself shocked when I go to the grocery store and look at prices and think, wow, this costs this now? And
wow. I mean, what makes that clip newsworthy to play is, we know about inflation. This is CNN. And you see similar reporting on MSNBC, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate the significance of this. CNN and MSNBC are not in the business of reporting the news if it's bad for Democrats. They're in the business of propaganda and promoting Democrats and covering things up. These are the people that had Michael Avenatti move in for 6 months, okay? The sleazy porn lawyer that they wanted to run for president. For CNN to run story after story, day after day, on out-of-control inflation tells you how bad it is for Biden and the Democrats. And they're doing the same thing on MSNBC. This is historic. I've never seen, I've never seen the cable news, CNN, MSNBCers be so honest in their reporting involving a Democrat ever. Ever. They're dishonest all the time when they're reporting on Republicans, but they always cover up for Democrats. This is historic. That's how bad it is. And when they're telling people, when they go over the polls, they go over the opinion polls too. They go over the election polls and everything else. They have both told their viewers that it's going to be a house cleaning for the Democrats. That's it. I mean, they're, and for them to not even put up an attempt that they're going to do well in the midterms is also historic in nature for the liberal mainstream media reporting. These are not the kind of things that you normally see. And I know a lot of you don't watch CNN or MSNBC. I get it. I watch it because, it's part of doing show prep. But watching them report these stories, sometimes I'll check and say, make sure it's CNN. But I'll tell you, when things like that happen, these problems that we're facing are the issues that are bipartisan. When it comes to the cost of things, that brings people together that normally would never agree on if it's sunny outside. And when you've got people coming together on something like this, and what do? They're unite. They need help. They don't like paying more. These leftists out in California that don't mind the high gas prices, they're outliers. You get through the rest of the country, and they can't afford this. If this was after the midterms, it would be different. But the problem with the entire Biden regime, they have not done one thing. Not one thing with one of these crises to make it better. Look at this thing going on now with the airlines. Now, I don't fly too much. So the airline, that's not a big deal to me. But you know what? A lot of people do. That's another. You got baby food crisis. You've got inflation. You've got gas. I mean, look what's going on right now with the gas. And then we find out that Biden is shipping oil from the oil reserve to China. And that's all over the news today and yesterday. And we understand that one of the reasons price is so high because the supply has been reduced in this country, and he's exporting oil to China of all places. There's not one problem that Americans have been facing that anyone from the Biden administration has tried to address, like the pilots. Okay, they don't have enough pilots. This is one of the problems. And there's a lot of pilots that are beyond the maximum age to fly for the airlines, which is 65. So Buttigieg does an interview the other day as the transportation secretary, and he's asked, could you raise a couple years the maximum age for pilots to eat? And he says, no, 65. It's too old. Older than that, it's too old. When he's got this senile old coot in the White House running everything. Not one issue or crisis. I think the first crisis that they really faced was the supply chain crisis, which is still a problem. And their policy is to do nothing and let it work itself out. That's what they do. They let it work itself out. And you can do that while you're in Congress, like Biden has been his whole life. You have nothing to do. These people, it's not just that they don't want to help. Solutions are not even on their radar. Because when you come from Congress, you never have to have solutions. And even if they wanted to fix any of these problems, they don't know how, because they don't have people that are doers advising them or working for them or running the different government agencies. Like President Trump would pick people that have experience in different businesses and things like this that know how to get results, because in the private sector results are expected. You've got college professors as your economic advisors. They don't know how to fix any of these problems. And people aren't stupid. Those signs at the gas station, every one of them is a Vote MAGA Republican campaign ad at every street corner in America where there's a gas station. And the prices at the grocery store, I mean, when you have things that people take for granted that are now luxury items, like meat, that's a problem. And they don't even attempt to try to fix it. Now, if you go to the stores, the baby formula shortage is still in effect. The stores, though, are just, they've moved things around. There's not a shortage of powder, there's a shortage of liquid, which has still been the problem all along. It's not been fixed. But the stores just fill the shelves up with the powder, so you don't notice it as much. But next time you go to your local grocery store, go to the baby formula section and look and see how little liquid baby formula there still is. They've done nothing to address that crisis. And you know what? They never will. All right, now after the top of the hour, Steve will be joining us. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. You know, there are certain things that Biden could do to relieve some of this pain that people are facing, and they might gain some support. They really would. If they could, you know, like yesterday, Biden's talking about, well, the Republicans. He's moved on from Putin, right? Now he's blaming the Republicans for not supporting the bill to reduce the federal gas tax. That's 18 cents. The federal gas tax is 18 cents. That's nothing. We want the Trump gas prices back. We want to pay $1.60, $1.70 a gallon, not $5. Thanks for the 18 cents. What are you going to do with the 18 cents? Nothing. That's what you're going to do with the 18 cents. You know, if he came out with something that would give some relief from even one of these things, he would be a hero, but it's not on his radar. And it to me, it looks like they don't care, but I also think a lot of it is just being incompetent. It's not just not caring. I mean, who around him is incompetent? All they care about are these check boxes. They got certain agendas that they get, like this thing with the teachers union we were talking about earlier. The non-birthing parents is how the teachers union will now refer to mothers. I didn't hear what they're going to call the fathers, I'm guessing. I guess the fathers are non-birthing parents and the mothers are the birthing parents. I don't know. Who knows what they're doing? Those are the kinds of things that the Democrats in power right now are concerned about. That, critical race theory, they're not concerned about any of the issues that people really care about, which is being able to buy food to fill up the refrigerator and cabinet so they can feed their children. I mean, that's just the reality of it. That's Biden's America, and we're only a year and a half into it. All right, so listen, we are going to take our break for the top of the hour. We'll come back with Steve. We'll take some calls, got some more issues that we haven't touched on yet. And Steve and I were talking a little bit before the show about something that we've been noticing with Kamala Harris, we're going to talk about, who is, well, we'll talk about it after the break, but Kamala Harris is definitely making a move here. We'll get into that and a few other things. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio this year. And with the passing of Hank Goldberg, oh my gosh, we didn't get a chance to talk about the passing of Hank Goldberg, who I've not heard from in a while, but Hank Goldberg, an old friend of Steve's. So we do have to give a mention to that when Steve joins us. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig, back after this. Don't go anywhere.
This summer, fire up your imagination with Audible. Listen to comedies, thrillers, mysteries, and more. It's everything you want in audio entertainment, all in the Audible app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com. That's Traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News Now, I'm Lionel Moise. The first victim of the Highland Park, Illinois 4th of July shooting will be laid to rest Friday. And as police release new details, the community is still trying to cope. ABC's Alex Stone is in Highland Park.
The last time Lorena Mejia and Dave James were here, they were running from the gunfire, they say. Their fold-up chair is still here where they left them in that moment.
And I said, gunshots, run, gunshots.
They have now come back to piece together the fuzzy memories of when they ran.
We found a dumpster, and we moved the dumpster into a corner, and we hid behind it with our 2 dogs.
And they are here with many others from town, crying together, paying respects at a growing memorial. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The suspect was denied bond in court yesterday. 7 people were killed and dozens others injured in that shooting. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin will be sentenced in federal court today for violating George Floyd's civil rights. This is ABC News.
At CDW, we get Mac at work works for everyone.
I work in IT, and since we switched to Mac, the text messages I'm getting are a lot more positive. Sales is happy because Mac works with all their apps. Finance is happy to get power without the big price tag.
And CDW configured every device to work right out of the box.
Is there an emoji for that?
I use the unicorn. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Get a great deal on Mac for your business at cdw.com/getmac.
The new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 is here. WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station.
I love these people.
Now, celebrating 45 years. It's the longest running radio show in Florida.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh yeah, today is a special show. This is a big show today. No one really. This is the last, Steve. Because Monday we begin the expansion, right? We begin the expansion to the 3 new FM stations. We'll start carrying the Steve Kane Show 5 to 9 a.m. on Monday. Yeah, so that means today is the very last show that is only for our regular listeners and our current listeners, because tomorrow's show, the 8 o'clock hour, is what we run as a best of from 5 to 6. So tomorrow's 8 o'clock hour will be our introduction to our new radio stations before we go live at 6 on Monday. So today's... That's right. So today is the last day just talking to our current listeners. So after the big expansion, we'll start with tomorrow's show. So it's very exciting, guys. Oh my goodness. I know I'm excited. I know you are too, Steve. All right, let me give out the number. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We were talking before the show, Steve. I know that the news media are obsessing over Boris Johnson. I can't get it. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, it's like, who cares to me? It's just not important.
Well, the thing that's significant is the coincidence that it's happening simultaneously with the destruction of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I mean, the United States and the United Kingdom are going through the same trauma at the same time is a coincidence, I guess. It's kind of interesting. I think it's interesting.
Interesting.
Do you know what happened?
What exactly happened with Boris Johnson?
Well, it was a sex scandal, and it was a gay sex scandal. I was listening to earlier, in the middle of the night, I was listening to Nigel Farage.
Oh, he's awesome, Nigel Farage.
Yeah, he's great. And they were evidently one of the top ministers that Boris appointed was involved in some kind of a sex scandal where he was coming on to another male.
Oh.
And instead of being open about it, Boris decided to try to cover for him, and it's always the cover-up that gets you in trouble on these things. And that's what happened. Credibility, and he's gone, and it's happened quicker than with Biden. Biden is really dragging out, but it's happening. You're seeing it, history being made.
Well, I've noticed that Kamala Harris has a diction coach now. If you watch her, she's been speaking out publicly on every issue, And her cackle has disappeared. Have you noticed this? She's not cackling anymore in public?
They've been trying to. They worked on that from the beginning to try to get rid of it.
Yeah. 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 Well, the question is, what's that about? Is she preparing to take over?
My theory. I mean, all we can't know. We can only surmise. But my theory is that the Biden people are pushing Kamala to the front as a way of securing Biden's job. The more they see of Kamala, the more they realize that as bad as Biden is, it could be worse if Kamala was in there. So that's my theory. Whether it proves to be,
oh no, it would be worse. It would be worse with Kamala for a number of reasons. First off, I mean, she's stupid and she knows it. All right, she's aware of her limitations. She's not one of these people that thinks she's brilliant and is not. She knows she's stupid, and because she's aware of it, she would have to compensate by trying to show everyone she's an independent woman and knows what she's doing, and she would be involved giving orders and everything. So where Biden's just checked out, and him being checked out and not being as involved in every little thing makes it not as bad.
Biden, yeah, so they know what is it they say? The devil you know is better than the devil you
Yep,
know.
that's right.
That affects.
That's right.
So they've got Biden's where they know what to expect.
Yeah.
Kamala's a wild card, to say the least.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Let's take some calls. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the radio. Yeah. Let's take these calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How did Hank Goldberg die?
He. My understanding is he had kidney disease.
Oh.
I think it had something to do with diabetes. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a mix.
I do believe.
I used to call his show every once in a while, but I wanted to.
He was a good guy.
I wanted to make a point, if I might, about what is wrong. I think what's happening with this country and with different things is we tend to do everything wrong. For example, years ago I was in a fire over at the Versailles Hotel, and the Red Cross was out there, and I had my guide dog with.
Yeah.
Red Cross would say, "Oh, they'll be here for 5 hours until my."
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out the part that's relevant to the show, Mike. I mean, you know.
I just wanted to say that's what's happening every.
Oh. Okay. All right. I appreciate the call. Let me tell you. Oh my goodness, the Red Cross and the fire. I'm shocked. He had a girlfriend though. Once. That part's interesting. You back with us, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, because I heard the phone ringing in the background. I thought you might have something else to do. Because I heard the phone ringing. Somebody is calling you every day at 8:08. I don't know who it is, but they're calling. Yeah, well, block their number. You should block their number. I don't know what it is about 8:08, but somebody's got a little number problem, and I hear your phone in the background at that time each and every day. Yeah. No, but here, listen, Steve. The Democrats, I was talking about this. I've been watching a lot of CNN and MSNBC lately, and it's hard. I know a lot of people don't. I've been watching it, and it's fun to watch these days because they're losing. But what's surprising about it, I was talking about this before the top of the hour, is how on both cable news networks for the liberals, MSNBC and CNN, they're telling their viewers that the Democrats are losing and losing big. They're not trying to cover it up. And that is unheard of in liberal media. Unheard of. And
they can't even. They've always attempted to cover it up, but it's gotten so bad that even they realize it's impossible to cover.
Yeah, there's something going on about it. I mean, the conventional thinking is the conventional thinking is they're preparing their viewers so that they're not so shocked on election night. I think they want Biden out of power. I think they made a mistake back in this guy from the basement, and they want Pelosi, they want Biden, they want them gone. I think the liberal media don't mind a cleansing. They figure they'll be back down the road. They don't mind. Because for both. Yeah. Now, I saw something a couple days ago that was very, very strange, very unusual. Jay Johnson, who was Obama's Homeland Security Secretary, and Jay Johnson is still in the Obama orbit, right? And he gave an interview over the weekend, and he wants Biden, and when Jay Johnson speaks, he does a lot of the Sunday shows. When you see Jay Johnson speaking, assume it's Obama speaking, because he doesn't talk about these things without talking to Obama about it. So Jay Johnson said that he wants Biden to come out and announce that he's not running, that would be the right thing to do, so that other people can start preparing their runs. Jay Johnson, that's directly from Obama. That is unheard of. In fact, Jay Johnson said he would like Biden to announce he's not running for re-election before the midterms. That's unheard of. No.
Ways it was very like this. Every day there were hearings going on, and every day it was drip, drip, drip. More stuff would come out. More stuff would come out, and eventually, what they did, I'll never forget it. It stands out in my mind. A delegation of Republican senators. I'm trying to remember who was the head big marker at that time in the Republican Party, but they took a walk up to the White House, and they met with the president, and they tell them, Mr. President, there's no support for you. And actually, very much like what happened today with Johnson.
Yeah.
Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
They just said there's no support for you. We can't. If you're going to force us to take a vote, the votes aren't there to keep you in. And Nixon resigned because Nixon, for all his faults, and boy, he certainly had a lot of faults. I hated Nixon at the time, but for all his faults, he knew when the jig was up.
Well.
He went quietly at the end.
Yeah.
I visualized. That's the way it's going to have to happen. Things are going to get so bad, and there's so many things they can use. This thing, the laptop Hunter, they've got enough to.
Oh, the new one, the new video of Hunter smoking crack in the tank is oh my goodness. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, there's a lot more to talk about. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve is here. We'll be back after this.
Politics to us. Start your day the Steve Kane way. Cold, hard facts. Morning 6 to 9 with Brian Craig.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642.
Hey, Barry, hold on. All right, I got it, Rich.
To your neuropathy symptoms, 754-222-6642. You've seen the ads on TV, and you've heard your friends tell you about MyPillow. MyPillow is guaranteed the most comfortable pillow. Right now at MyPillow.com, when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, buy one MyPillow, get one for free. But you have to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com for this incredible offer. Buy one MyPillow, get another one free. Go to MyPillow.com right now. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does.
Rich, I got him.
Automotive repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champaign Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. Men, do you suffer from ED? If so, you know it can be very frustrating, not just for you, but your partner too. Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bayou Station West Delray can help. Call for a free consultation, 561-320-8893. Call now and get your erection back on demand. Ladies, you can make an appointment for your man too, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Smarter than 95,000 milligrams of B6. Gets the Steve Kane Show, mornings.
All right, and it's time to check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing all right. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, things change. Things don't always remain the same. I mean, look at your show. All the great things that are going on.
That's right.
Changes and the ownership and all the different things going on. Great changes, but things do change. The same thing happens in our lives. Same things happen with our finances. Same things happen with the law. Things change. And if you have an estate plan and you did it years and years ago and you haven't picked it up, dusted it off, looked at it, or had an attorney or law firm such as ourselves review it for you, it could be severely out of date. Things could change. And we see things all the time, such as we see people come in with estate plans where they have multi-million-dollar estates and they just have a will. They have their ex-spouse as a beneficiary or somebody who's not even living or as a trustee. It may not be appropriate for their financial situation as it may have grown significantly. And of course, laws change. And if somebody came from another state, there could be a completely different set of laws. So it's very important to make sure that you review your estate plan so you have an estate plan that works for you when you need it. And that's what we do here.
Yeah, that's right. It's always a free review with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Barry on the radio, you can find them online at SiegelLawGroup.com or call toll-free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782 for the Siegel Law Group. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we will finish out the week tomorrow.
All right, you guys have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, we're back. Steve, you with us? Oh man, okay. Now this ad, I played this in the first hour. This is beautiful. Now this is beautiful. I've never heard of this guy before yesterday. Jerome Davison. You might, because you follow football. I don't follow football, but he played for the NFL. It says, and he played for Arizona State as well. And he's running for Congress in Arizona. Yeah, and he's a MAGA Republican. And it's an ad, well, against gun control. And I'll play it for you, then I'll describe the visuals after. This is a great ad, and it's a television ad running in Arizona right now.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Jerome Davison, he's African-American, Steve. That's important, all right?
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense. That no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic and all 30 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great ad. And, oh. Well, in the visual, they got like some Hollywood filmmaker to make this thing. It shows him like in modern clothes with an AR-15 over his shoulder, and he's like in a cabin. And it's nighttime, and he's looking out, and you see the Klansmen ride up with their full hoods and sheets on and everything as he's doing the narration. And oh, that's right, the Democrat Klan. We've been talking about the Democrat Klan for a long time, but that's the first campaign ad I've seen that points it out. It's very powerful. It's very, oh my goodness. When I saw that ad yesterday, I was like, this guy, that's a good ad. Whoever came up with that deserves like an award. They should be making all the campaign ads. I've never seen something like that.
The big problem the Democrats are having is they can't change the narrative. I mean, it's even thrown off some of my predictions. For example, when the abortion thing broke with the Supreme Court, I said the next thing that's going to happen is they're going to go in, and they tried this and it didn't work. They're going to go in and they're going to make the next big issue to move their narrative along. The next big issue is going to be the Supreme Court and packing the Supreme Court. And they tried to get it off the ground, and look how quickly that issue, I mean, that was a huge thing, that abortion controversy. It just didn't have any legs. It just dissolved after a day.
I know. Yeah.
They can't get, and then
Show.
the shootings. What happened over the weekend?
Steve
that
Kane
horrible, bloody thing. You
Hold on.
figured that
Steve
was
Kane
going
Show.
gun
Hold on.
control was going to take over the narrative. That didn't have legs. That's on the.
Yeah. They got nothing. Nothing.
Nothing is stronger than the desire to get rid of Biden, and that's why he's in trouble, and that's why he's going to go.
Well, they had these two incidents. That Uvalde, that's gone. The Highland Park, that one's disappeared as well. They've got nothing and nowhere to go, and they're in big trouble.
Weren't strong enough to break away from the Biden incompetence.
Yeah, but that's beautiful. That's what we want to happen. I mean, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I'm waiting. He's building up to something, Steve. He's building up to something. Yeah. All right. We can do for him is let him go. That's what we can do for him. Oh my goodness. See, that's what we've been dealing with today on the phones.
And I want to get things off right. With the 8 to 9 hour, we're going to be. My plan is to take a lot of calls in the last hour. Give you a chance. I think this show is at its best when we're fielding calls. So I'm trying to get the audience conditioned to. I know it's hard to get through earlier, and sometimes you can't wait or something. But in this 8 to 9 hour, we're going to try to keep it moving, and we're going to try to. You got to do your part. You're an important part of the show. You in the listening audience. We want to turn you from a listener into a caller, and especially in the final hour of the show, we want to take a lot of calls. I can't do the number. Is it different?
No. 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. It's the same number. Now, I got to tell people, we got an offer here that you will want to hear about, and I have a doorbell camera, and it's a beautiful thing. It's right there. I can look at my front door right now at my house on my phone and see what's out there. I know it's a beautiful thing. And you can actually get a free doorbell camera. That's right, a free doorbell camera if you call 1-833-283-5050. That's toll free, 1-833-283-5050. This is a limited time offer for a free doorbell camera that'll connect directly to your phone. I have mine on my iPhone, but any smartphone it can connect with your installation of a Sloman Shield. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 armed doors, and a backup battery. Plus, you get that free doorbell camera when you call 1-833-283-5050. Now, the free doorbell camera offer is a limited offer, so you want to call right away, 833-283-5050. And again, it's with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. So do what I do. Keep your home, keep your family safe, and know who's at your front door. I love it, especially when the door-to-door solicitors come, Steve. It's a great thing to have. 833-283-5050, 833-283-5050 for your free doorbell camera. Now, after the bottom of the hour break, we will go back to the phones. Hopefully, the phone calls today, Steve, have been really, I must say, low-quality calls. I mean, that you heard the last guy. So we want to try to elevate the quality of the calls today. And if you've noticed, I've not been taking too many calls. It's because of the quality of the calls that we've been getting today. They're not the normal Steve Kane Show standard of caller. All right, let's be honest here. We don't have time. We want
to especially liberals. This is a show. Most shows don't want to take adversary calls. We love adversarial calls. So if you're a liberal, when Brian picks up the phone.
That's right. Now listen, we got to run for we got to run for our break. We'll be back with your calls. 888-GO-KANE-1. Back right after this break.
Love the Steve Kane Show?
These are very talented people, brilliant people.
Well, take it on the go with the iHeartRadio app. Search Oldies 95.3 and 96.9. Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day is off to an awesome start. We're going to see a daytime high today of about 91 degrees. When you combine the humidity and the heat, it'll feel like 100 plus out there. There's a chance of some isolated storms. I'm WTV F25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
True Oldies. Traffic check.
In the Palm Beaches, we are still incident-free on the expressways, but look out for an incident off to the left shoulder on the turnpike heading northbound just after the West Palm Beach Service Plaza. Also on the turnpike heading northbound after Okeechobee Boulevard, a crash is blocking the right shoulder but causing no delay. In West Palm, we do have a crash on Okeechobee Boulevard at I-95. Also a crash now cleared on 441 at Sandalfoot Boulevard in Boca. This report is sponsored by Racetrack. What if you could harness the energy of a beast in a can? Well, you can with a hot deal summer at Racetrack. Get one free Monster Energy when you buy two. Whatever gets you going. Select sizes. See store for details. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
This is Steve Kane. We are here this morning with William Youngerman from William Youngerman, Inc. for our gold report. William, how are you? Welcome to the show. Wanted to ask you the big question, the big one that everyone wants to know. With gold, when's a good time to buy, and when do you sell?
Okay, the answer to the question, when do you sell, is really goes back to why did you buy it in the first place? When the reason you bought it is fulfilled, it's time to sell. Or when the reason that you bought it no longer exists, it's time to sell. In 1980, gold hit a high of $850, and people had bought gold all the way up to that level. And at that time, the reason to own gold changed dramatically because we had 25% interest rates all of a sudden. The government said we will stop inflation no matter what, and they did so with very high interest rates. That reason for owning gold then changed, and we dramatically told our customers in the 1980s, sell your gold, sell. It's finished for the time being, okay? That was a reason. Now, some people
Steve Kane Show.
Because they said, no, I want this
Steve
as my
Kane Show.
insurance policy.
Hold on.
Insurance policy, you don't necessarily buy and sell your life insurance policies. You have it for a particular reason. And some of your money should always be in gold, regardless of what the price is doing. Historically, we've always said at least 5%. At this particular time, we recommend much higher percentage.
Grum, Texas, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Howdy from East Texas, and great show today. Well, thank you, Grum, Texas.
Buying it will determine when to sell it. If that reason changes or is full.
Now, we've been hearing from a lot of creeps here. I've been having them down the hall on the phones today. That's why I've been taking too many calls.
No IOUs or attached to it. It is an insurance policy, and it is a hedge against inflation, and it's the only real money that will maintain its buying power for you in the long term.
Okay, well that answers that question. If the question becomes where, well, I can tell you where. William Youngerman, Inc., located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. You can drop by to the Bank of America building right on the first floor opposite the Bank of America. You can call William at 1-800-327-5010 or go to the website at williamyoungerman.com.
Our dogs and cats want 4 things: food, water, our love, and a My Pillow pet bed. And let's face it, when they get older, they really need that comfort. Available in 3 sizes and in many different colors. And your furry family member will sleep as well as you do, because the My Pillow pet bed has that same patented fill inside as the pillows. Order your My Pillow pet bed for 50% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Or call 1-800-716-4879. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Get it off your chest. Just call in 888. With Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number 1 888 Go Kane 1. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, Rich.
Hey, here's the deal. Okay, I was listening yesterday, and Brian brought up Hank Goldberg, and said he wanted to talk a little. And I remember listening. I was into sports back in the 70s, all the way through probably the 90s. And I used to call all the time to the sports shows. And then there was the big crossover between Goldberg went on with Neil Rogers and a man called Steve Kane. And you guys got me into the politics. Yeah, you guys got me into the politics. I broke away from the sports and started to go to the politics because I said, this is great, you know. And you had a superstation back then. But I know that it was the Three Musketeers. It was you, Neil Rogers, and Hank Goldberg with the horse race. It was incredible. You guys were close friends, I guess, when it came to horse race.
Well, not always. We started, in fact, my history in this market, which goes way, way, way back. Initially, I was considered an interloper because there was a lot of sports. I guess it was IOD at the time. And I came in, I was the talk guy. And they were the Dolphin team, and all this stuff. They resented me a lot in the beginning. There was a lot of conflict because I used to love to fight on the air. I used to go pick fights with Neil and all that stuff, and they weren't used to that kind of stuff. And Hank started to attack me on the air, and I said, "Oh, this guy wants to play. I love this. This is great." And I went on the air and I went after him big time, and we had a feud going for a long time. But then in the end, as was my relationship with a lot of the people at IOD, after a while they got used to me and we became friends, and at the end, we were buds. He was a good guy.
But the thing is that I know you for a fact. Your word to people out there is, listen, this is a radio show. Remember that. It's a radio show. Which meant to me that don't take everything so seriously that goes on, but I mean, it's entertainment. And I got to tell you one Hank Goldberg story that I knew about that, and I don't like to talk about the dead, but he was not liked down at Miami. Don Schuler Steakhouse. I used to go down there. He had a show that he used to go do from the steakhouse, and he used to go crazy. crazy after the young bartenders and the waitresses, and they resented that so bad. They used to think he was so obnoxious. And I used to laugh. I used to sit and watch him and see how he operated.
Hank was a character.
Well, I read Hank Goldberg's obituary, and it seemed like so fantastical that it could, like it's not even true. It said his obituary. I'm not saying that it's not, but there's some things there I'd never heard about him before. It said that he started out with Jimmy the Greek, which I've never heard that before, and it said that he had his own book, and it listed some celebrities that were in his book, which I thought, like, one of them was Clint Eastwood. I don't know, it seemed a little too fantastic to be true, but you never know.
The life Damon Runyon type character, and he'll be sorely missed, no question.
You know, what used to happen with him all the time that I thought was outrageous is his radio station was suspending him all the time for things he said on the air. And I always felt like he was at such a handicap because any day of the week they were taking him off the air for 3 days or a week because they didn't like something he said, which kind of make it, yeah.
So, but the thing about him is when he used to interview a celebrity, it was a fantastic thing. Usually the sports guy interviewing the celebrity, the people are listening to the celebrity. Hank Goldberg was equal. You know, I don't know how to explain this. I mean, you look at him and he was an icon just like the guy he was interviewing. He was incredible sports.
And he was big into the gambling angle.
Yeah, his phone would ring during the show all the time, kind of like yours, Steve, but it was always like the bookie. His bookie would like call him during the show.
He could handicap better than anyone else down here. I mean,
he was good.
Probably.
Well, now that Hank Goldberg is dead, Steve, I think you're the last talk show host of that era. No. I think you're the last. I think you're the last talk show host of that era alive from the Miami market.
I'm fortunate.
That's scary.
I'm fortunate that I've gone through all of these things because I'm older. But the people out there, the younger people listening to your show right now, you guys don't realize that you're witnessing something tremendous. When you hear Steve Kane was a legend in the talk show business, and I got.
Wait, not is, Richie. You said was. Steve hasn't passed. Hank Goldberg has passed. Okay.
Bury him, but I'm saying.
Sounded like it was. All right, Richie, you're doing good. You're doing good, but appreciate that. He's preparing your eulogy, Steve. Oh my goodness, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Oh, here we go. See, I tell you, it's been one of those days, Steve, on the phones. It's been like this all day. It's the left. They can't. I understand. It wasn't supposed to be this way. I'm at the point now where I think that the liberals miss Trump even more than we do, which I don't even think is humanly possible. And they really do because they're in. Oh, yeah. Well, President Trump did something yesterday, which is it's almost an announcement. Okay. Now this is amazing what he did yesterday. I was talking about this at the top of the show at 6. Trump Force One, which we haven't seen in a few years. Remember the big plane with his name on it, right? Okay, that plane has been completely renovated, and President Trump released a video of the painting of Trump Force One. It's been completely renovated and is going to be back in action very soon at a campaign stop. But they have this dramatic video. It's inside the hangar, and and it shows it's like 2 minutes long. It shows the whole process of painting the new Trump Force One, and they did a beautiful job, and very dramatic music. And then at the end, there's a quick fade that's only a millisecond. It's a fade that doesn't completely dissolve, so you don't really get to see it fully. But they show some flags hanging from the roof of the hangar above Trump Force One, and one of the flags is Trump 2024. That's the last thing you see in the video, the Trump 2024 flag just fade away at the end. And President Trump released this video yesterday, and Eric Trump and Don Jr., and it is, in a way, I think that the country is in distress, and that's kind of like a soft announcement. Don't worry, I'm coming. Just stand strong, and I'm coming. It was, to let us know.
Because he was never famous for restraint. I mean, he's a guy who speaks out and speaks his mind, but he is put up with a lot of stuff. I don't know how he does it, but he's held back and he's held his fire. He showed a discipline I didn't know he had.
Well, don't forget the Alaska rally Saturday night. The Trump Alaska rally. It's his first rally ever in Alaska. So it's going to be huge. It's at 4 in the afternoon. It's at 4 in the afternoon, Alaska time. So I think it'll probably be around 8 or 9 o'clock our time. Alaska has multiple time zones. It's in Anchorage. I don't know the time difference between the East Coast and Anchorage, but it'll be in the evening, our time. So it'll be fine. It'll be in prime time on the East Coast. He probably timed it that way to be prime time on the East Coast. Would not surprise me. He always does. But this being the first, and Sarah Palin, of course, is going to be there because this rally is in part for her. So I'm sure Sarah Palin will get up there and speak. It's going to be a good one. It's a big one. And we really need Sarah Palin back. You get her with Brobert, and we need them all. We need them all. Callers on hold, stand by. After the gold report, we'll come back and take some calls. But that rally in Alaska should be a hot one, Steve, because since there's never been an Alaskan rally, the people there are pretty much going to be Alaskans. Alaska's pretty big. So, when you have a rally here in the rest of the United States, people drive from different states and everything. Not many people are going to drive to Alaska and go through Canada and everything else to go see the rally. So it'll be a rally that's...
Good morning, Brian. This is Richard. This is calling for Brian Craig.
No, but I don't know. But it'll be a rally of mainly Alaskans, and that means people that have not really had a chance to see President Trump before. So a lot of them will be their first rally, and it'll be very, very exciting. Now, listen, we have a full board of calls. So callers on hold, stand by. I am going to have to screen the calls during the break, but so stand by. I will screen the calls during the break. Well, if they dare. All right, so listen, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take a quick break and be back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. How are the metals looking today, William Youngerman?
Metals are looking a little stabilized finally after the big drop that we had yesterday.
Steve Kane Show.
Gold yesterday closing at $1738.70. That was down $26.80, and well off of the 1800 support levels that we were seeing.
Steve Kane Show.
Silver closed out $19.20
Steve Kane
yesterday.
Show.
That was unchanged. Platinum closed at $856, down $10, and palladium closed at $1842, down $19. This morning we see gold back up to about $2.20 right now at $1,741. Silver up 14 cents at $19.35, while platinum is up $16 at $872, and palladium is up $58 at $1,900. So the market seems to be stabilizing around these numbers for the time being anyway. A downside, we're looking at possibly on gold, $17.20 should be some good support. Silver somewhere around $19 support, although we did get below $19 for a brief moment yesterday. Platinum holding right around these numbers, and as I said, up $16 today. That's pretty much where we are.
Yeah, and don't forget that no matter where you're located, you can do business with William Youngerman. You can buy and sell the metals no matter where you're located. Can you tell people a little bit about that, William Youngerman?
Yes, certainly.
That's right. And you can reach William Youngerman. They open up at 10 a.m. Toll free, 1-800-333-3776. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop right in. Located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right. All right, we are back. There's only one opening on our board where William Youngerman was at. 1-888-GO-CANE. 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once. Twice. All right, we tried. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Al.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Dr. Matez on Monday and getting my NAD infusion of peptides.
Oh.
I'm going to have a...
Are you going to see Dr. Matez? I'm curious. It's amazing to me. I didn't realize you would see Dr. Matez. What need of an erection do you have?
Well, the peptides boost my energy level.
Ah.
And burn some extra fat. I want to get my BMI level under 33.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the plug for Dr. Matez. It doesn't mean we're going to go easy on you, Liberal Al.
Go ahead. You good. I'm going to go easy on you guys. I know your weekend's going to be ruined by Pat Cipolloni's testimony.
Who?
Pat Cipollone.
No.
Tell me what he's going to testify to, since you seem to be privy to it.
Well, Roger Stone and...
Well, I don't know what I'm talking about, right?
Roger Stone, oh yeah, you know Roger Stone.
So what's going to happen? There's going to be testimony on Friday, and what's going to happen after that?
That Roger Stone and
Steve Kane Show
were part of organizing
Steve
the
Kane
Proud
Show.
Boys, like Richie, the bus driver, and other
Steve
people
Kane
like
Show. No. Okay. Oh my God. See, I told you, didn't I not tell you, Steve? The calls have been of low quality today. Very low quality. Yeah. He didn't have anything to start with. He's got nothing. No. Not many of our callers had today. Well, I've only got what I got to work with here, Steve. The materials I have to work with on the phones are really poor materials today. I mean, these callers. Steve and I talk about this sometime. I can take what is considered just a terrible caller with nothing to say, nothing to contribute, and I usually can take those callers and mold them into something interesting. And that has been beyond the realm of my talents on today's show, because the materials we're working with are pretty poor. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, there we go. He wants to be on that ban list so bad. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. All right, there we go. It's only I don't know. I've lost track. That's about the 6th time I've used the dump button today, Steve. So it's been one of those mornings. All right, I got to wait for the delay to build back up before we take any of the other callers. But I think Liberal Al, Steve, is going to make the ban list. You're going to finally get your wish. I know you've been wanting to put him on the ban list for a long time. Really? Yeah. Yeah. Well, it may have something to do with the total defeat of the liberals. You know, they control every branch of government except the Supreme Court. We've got the legal system, but they control the Congress, they control the White House, and it wasn't supposed to be this way. They thought it would be a little bit better, Steve. Well, let me tell you, there are days, and then there are days like this. What you and the listening audience haven't been hearing what I've been hearing from callers today, okay? Because most of what's happened with the liberals, and it's been a varied amount of liberals, have not made it to the airwaves. I've not seen the liberals this depressed in a long time. I really haven't. I don't know if it's that photo of Nancy walking down the beach with the cleavage. Did you see this? Oh my goodness. She's walking down the beach in Italy. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. Pelosi's walking down the beach in Italy with her cleavage hanging out like Stormy Daniels. Nobody wants to see that. I don't know. Maybe that's been the final bit of depression for the Democrats. I don't know. But today on the phones has been like no other day we've had on this program in years. And something must have happened that has caused the Trump derangement syndrome to kick in. I don't know if it's the unveiling of Trump Force One, but I have not been able to put on the air without dumping pretty much every call that's come in today. And also, most of the people that have called in have not made it to the air today for similar reasons. And there's something going on out there. It's got to be something I've missed. But I'll tell you this. Did you see the mugshot of the Highland Park shooter? There's no doubt that kid was transitioning. No doubt. No. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons, and if not the main reason, that story is disappearing from the news. They don't want a story of a transgender mass shooter. Well, you know, it's amazing that they're already getting away from the gun control narrative. And the reason they're getting away from it is because they have everyone. Well, in Illinois, they have every single fantasy gun-controlled piece of legislation, including red flag laws that the liberals fantasize about, and none of them worked. And this still happened. You know? Yeah. Yeah.
Stop anything.
Well, yeah. No, you can't.
Is be armed yourself and protect yourself. That's all you can do.
Well, what the father did was very strange. The father, after he threatened to kill the whole family, the father helped him. Well, the father went out and signed for him to get you have to have a permit to buy guns in Illinois. And the father signed the permission slip for him to get the gun permit after he threatened to kill the whole family. So the father. Yeah. There's got to be some family responsibility with it. I'm wondering what kind of liability the father has in allowing his severely deranged, mentally ill son. He was to go out and get these guns and actually helping him do it. You know, there's got to panicked. I would think they would be panicked right now. Well, like I remember, I remember Tim McVeigh's father, the Oklahoma City bomb. You guys remember Tim McVeigh? Tim McVeigh's father actually befriended family members of victims of Tim McVeigh from the Oklahoma City building. It was very strange, and you know, and he came out immediately and showed a lot of empathy and everything else for those families, and felt a lot of guilt and responsibility. But he didn't help him get the fertilizer, you know. And this father of this kid in Highland Park knew what his son was all about, and he helped him get the guns. There's got to be some type of liability that the father has and should have.
Is the part that the father and the mother played in him turning out the way he did.
Yeah.
Because it had to have been awful.
Oh. You know, I mean, any parent. Yeah. Well, you know, to me it would seem, I mean, I could not imagine what it would be like for anybody to have to go through anything like this. But I would think as a parent, if your child does something so horrific, you would feel some responsibility, wouldn't you? I mean, I think I would. Yeah. 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 I know. It's an awful thing. And, you know, part of the problem though with this kid had a lot of problems. He's got a lot of problems. But the parent, he lived with his father and his uncle. They let him sit and play video games all day for his entire life in his little shack that he had at the house. And I think that's a very common thing today, you know, with parents and young adult children. Yeah, but this dad had more control.
Us, and it's you know you when it's like it reminds me of the Waltons is all I can say.
But your house?
We have an extended family. For a while, Jenny was living with us with the grandchildren, and you know I always try to keep extra rooms open so that if the kids run into a patch in their life where they need a place to stay, they know they always have a haven.
Mm.
And
Well, in this situation, though, if you had a kid who was threatening to kill the whole family, you wouldn't go out and get him a permit to buy guns. And that's what this guy did, which is totally insane to me. You know, and for him to have 2 AR-15s at home and the dad not to know seems almost impossible to me. They're big guns. They had a lot of ammo. Well, he signed for him to get the permit to buy the guns. But you bring big guns like that into the house, how do you hide? You just can't hide those under the bed without Dad ever seeing them. No, this father's got a lot of screws loose, you know, and that's why this story is, by the end of the week, won't even be in the news anymore, because it doesn't fit the narrative. And they got a narrative, and the system didn't work because the police didn't arrest him. The parents helped him get the guns. You know, the system only works if someone's arrested. Yeah. I saw these lunatics in California that were pouring fake blood down the stairs at a protest in California. I mean, bring it on. All they do is continue to turn people away from them and towards us. Well, listen, we are all out of time for today. Hopefully tomorrow's show, the quality of the callers will increase just a little bit to the point where I don't have to hit the dump button every 10 seconds when I take a call. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. We'll be back tomorrow bright and early. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Take care.
South Florida's Good Time Oldies is here.
Oh, my goodness. It was Troll Central today. All right, guys, I got to run, but I'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hey, by the way, make sure that you like the video before you go, if you don't mind, all right? I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. And subscribe if you're not.